Hello everybody and welcome to Unacademy classes. My name is Abhishek Mishra and in this class we are going to do our thermodynamics revision. We will continue the class. So previously we had completed the thermodynamics topics, heat, work and basics of thermodynamics, which included zeroth law and also the discussion about Gibbs phase rule. So we will in this class do our discussion of first law of thermodynamics, and we will be discussing this formulas and important points, and then we will be doing questions. But mainly I will be making you understand these concepts via the numericals, and which is obviously the most important part because you are giving GATE examination. So let me check the if the stream is live or not, and I'm also going to open the chat so that I'm fully able to see what questions you will ask and then answer them. So let me do that. So the stream is looking fine, and now let's start the class. So as usual, we will first go to the basics of this thermodynamics very quickly, then do the questions. But before doing all that, let me first of all introduce myself, and also let me show you what Unacademy subscription will give you, what are its benefit and how it can help you score good marks. And you should totally see this because this is going to help you a lot, and there is a very special course starting soon, so you should also keep an eye on that and check out that so that you are following that properly, and that will help you a lot also. So let's start the class. I have secured all India rank of 662 in GATE 2020, and see, when I secured 662 rank, I did some very silly mistakes there. Hard questions were done by me easily, but the silly mistakes, easy question, were done by me wrong. So this means that I have a lot of experience in doing this type of mistakes. So I am very good person to let you know how to not do that mistakes. So I will be making you sure that you are fully aware of the potential areas in which you can make mistake and you can avoid them. So this is going to be invaluable to you because the things that I am going to teach or discuss during the class is not just the things you find on book or any normal lectures. It is based on experience and a lot of analysis of the GATE exam question papers. So you will find that the classes that I am taking will help you a lot, and just stick with me for an hour or so and it will be worth attending this class. And the revision will be very quick, so it will not be there to just waste your time. I will not go with full theory. This class is for those who just have a basic idea, and if you want to do questions also, then you can attend this class. So just for revision you can stick with this class and just solve questions, and in an hour or so your topics that I am teaching in this class will be covered properly. So I've completed my MTech also in 2019 from IIT BHU Varanasi, and I have got good teaching experience of 2 years in mechanical engineering subjects, and I've already taught here manufacturing, and I am currently teaching thermodynamics. But as you can see, some of the classes that I am taking in between this thermodynamics sessions are manufacturing, and I am also taking the manufacturing class nearly every day on the Unacademy's app and website at 10 p.m. So you can visit the app or website and watch my classes free there. Manufacturing, if you are finding my thermodynamic sessions fine, then you can totally come there, and I will be taking classes like trickiest question. So we will be going through 50 trickiest question there, and there we will have a better interaction than what we see in YouTube. Then therefore I am just stating that if you want to study online, then just go to unacademy.com. Don't visit the classes here. it is you can watch free classes there via the code that I have in this class that I will share you soon. So some of my interests are also listed: photo editing, video editing. I like cricket a lot, football, and I like also all sorts of games. So I will be taking this entire class in English, and this class, as I have told you before, I have prepared for GATE examination. I know what areas a student make mistake, as I have already also done the mistakes in some of the areas, and I have also taught it. So over the years, I have accumulated a certain tips and tricks which are going to be very valuable. So let's start discussing now about the Unacademy subscription. But before that, as I have discussed, unacademy.com, I am taking exclusive classes there, and if you want to cover certain things very quickly, if you are looking for just quick revision, if you have studied about certain topics a while ago and now you want certain things to be just revised quickly, then you can follow me on the unacademy.com, and here is the link. Just visit this link by writing it down in your browser. So just write it down in your copy and then put it in your browser, and you will be taken to my profile where you can follow me, and my whole schedule can be seen there. And also you can click on notify button so that whenever I go live you will be notified. No need to just keep, or no need to remember my timings. You can be notified whenever I go live. So here is the code ABHIMI. This code you can use to watch free classes on Unacademy app and website. So again, this code is a special code, and you can watch not only my free classes but all other educators free classes also on the Unacademy app and website. So just write it down, this code, and it is better that you also share this code, because this is free, with other students and your friends, because then you will be able to study with them during a live class. And I am here again, as I have told in my previous classes in detail, that it is always better and it is far better to attend a class live. So just visit this Unacademy app and website, use this code, and see which teacher is going to teach when, and attend their classes live and learn from them a lot. Because when you are attending a class live, what will happen, the 1 hour or so that you spend there will be enough. You will not require that much of revision if you are watching a class live, because during the class there will be a lot of interaction. Especially you will see that Unacademy app and website, their educators or teachers are making a special effort to interact with student so that their every doubt is cleared. And if you are asking doubts during that class, you will see that you are having a very you will have a very nice session. So I just recommend you to watch classes live, and here is the code, and this code will also allow you to download notes. So every Unacademy educator and teachers, what they are doing, they are teaching from a PDF file. So that PDF file will be able to you will be able to download that if you use this code, and see classes on the Unacademy app and website. So I hope you have understood what are the benefits of using this code. So again, this is the Unacademy app, and if you have not downloaded this app, it is very good app. I think I will just say it, that this app is far better than your YouTube app which you are using for watching the classes, because this app is specifically designed for education purposes. So just download this app and check out its all features. And if you already have this app, just make sure that you have just seen all the features that are there in this app. So there are a lot of things like quizzes. You can give 5 question quiz, 10 question quiz, so mini quiz to a lengthy quiz, traditional test series, all thing you can give. And it is, for example, let's say if you are just doing a revision and you are revising certain thing, and after you are revising of that thing you want to do questions, but you don't want to do all the things, you want to do some certain new questions. So just open a quiz and select 5 or 10 questions and just do them, and see their solution if you are not able to just make them. And that will be it. That will help you do preparation in a way which is smart. So this is an example. You can do things like that by using this Unacademy app. So this is just an example of the vast potential of this app. And here is the special course that I am talking about. These courses are these batches are starting from 28 December 2020 for mechanical engineering, and you should buy this now if you are aiming for GATE 2022 and GATE 2023. Evolve and Ascend are the batches name, and you can say that why I should join before, or why I should join early. So let me explain you. You want to study in a relaxing, calming manner, because I don't just recommend to for you to study for the GATE examination for a lot of hours in a day. So if you are studying only for 4 or 5 hours, it is fine. Okay. Also, initially 2 hours is also fine, but you need to be just increase that a lot. So if you are preparing for GATE 2022, it is very better that you start preparation now, because you will find yourself preparing in a nice calming manner, not in a crunch manner. So I think these batches are very worth it, since you will be starting this batch from the initial days. So you will find yourself very well in line with the syllabus and in line with the things the teacher is teaching you. So I would recommend you to join this batch if you are aiming for GATE 2022 and 2023, and use this code to get 10% off. So here are the things that you will get if you want to just subscribe to Unacademy: daily live classes, live test and quizzes, structured courses, unlimited access of content. But the most important thing is daily live classes, because live classes will be held day in, day out, and you will be able to ask your doubts and answer polls all while the class is going on. Plus, it is not written here, but you can download the notes from which the teacher is teaching you. So everything will be given to you. You just have to come to a class, study, and then go out of the class and revise the things that are taught to you, and give test, evaluate your performance, and analysis will also be provided, so that you can work on your areas where where your performance is not that good. So everything is planned. This is not something that is in random manner. This is the progressive way of learning, and Unacademy is making sure that you have all the tools. You just have to make the effort and prepare for the GATE examination. So here are the subscription prices, and you may find that these prices are high, but these are not high. These are very reasonably priced. Just look at Unacademy's app and see how much well their app is designed, how much features their app has, and then you look at the amount of teachers which are there to teach you. Then you look the notes that you are getting, the quizzes, the test series, traditional test series, on also the new test series, the competitions that Unacademy is making. And then you will find that these are very reasonably priced, and what price you will pay here will be absolutely worth it. And it is better if you are aiming for the GATE 2022 and 2023, then you should go with 12 months, 18 months or 24 months price, because it is very simple maths. The discount offered here is very more than the rest of the plans, and you can get extra discount by using this code. So this is the minimum possible price in which you can get an Unacademy subscription for. And just look here that this prices includes all the things that I have talked about, and it is all quality. None of the things is just there for the sake of increasing the quantity, because Unacademy has certain quality, and you should be able to watch the classes and able to understand what I am talking about. And no cost EMI is also available on 6 months and above subscription plans, so you have that option also. And this is for plus type subscription, means that you will be teaching with you will be studying with other students, just like in a classroom. So if you are okay with that, and that is absolutely one of the better plans, I think, because multiple students learning together, it will create a very nice competitive environment, and you will have yourself motivated to study in that environment. Don't forget to use this code. Again, I am pointing this out. This discounted prices, this minimum prices is only possible when you use this code. So if you use this code, you can easily save a lot of money. As you can see, for a 24 months plan, you are saving 44,000 it was initially, and this 10% off code will make you save 4,400, which is a lot, I think. So you should totally consider using this plan, this code. So other subscription type is Iconic, which are for those who need more assistance. So if you require personal coach, personalized test series, study planner, and things like that, then you should check out the Iconic subscription. The same code can be applied to get this 10% discount, and again, this is very reasonably priced. And don't just look that plus is will be sufficient. If you are thinking that Iconic will be beneficial for you more, then go with Iconic. The extra price that Iconic is costing is totally justified by the content that they are giving. So just based on your preference, just select one of the plans and just start preparing and give test series. And if you are aiming for GATE 2021, what you need to do is you need to just select a plan which you find is suitable. If you are aiming for other examination after GATE 2021 like ISRO, BARC, other PSU examination, MTech interviews, and PSU interviews, then you should also look into the 12 months subscription plan or 6 month subscription plan. And the best time to join Unacademy for GATE 2021 is also right now, because a lot of revision and crash courses are going on. So you can attend those classes and then you can give the test series that is already in the subscription of Unacademy, and just follow this approach to just attend revision classes, revise, and give test series. Look into your mistakes via the analysis that is provided by the Unacademy's team, and repeat this, and you will be finding that at the end of your whole preparation you are very well confident and you are satisfied with your preparation, because this will absolutely help you a lot in making you better prepared for GATE examination. So that will be it for Unacademy subscription discussion and Unacademy benefits discussion, and I hope you are able to understand what this Unacademy brings to the table and how it can help you a lot. So let's start the class now. So let me, before starting this class, let me just see if the chat is, so the chat is working fine. So somehow I think, so what happened there was, I forgot to remove the image that was above this display capture area, so that image overlapped it. So I think what we need to do is I will just quickly show you what are the slides. So this is the about me section, and let's move forward. This is the follow me on Unacademy. This is the link I was talking about, so apologies for the inconvenience caused there. And this right here is the code that I was talking about, ABHIMI, and this is the app, Unacademy's app. So you can download it totally free, just check it out. There is no harm in checking out a free app. It will obviously, I think, will be very beneficial for you, why I have explained it to you. And this is the 10% off code, and this is the Evolve and Ascend batches that are going to start from the 28th of December for mechanical engineering students. And these are the benefits that you will get when you subscribe to Unacademy. I have explained this benefit to have a very nice detailed look. What you can do, you can just check out the Unacademy's app and website, and there it is explained all in a well mannered. And new subscription prices are here. The discounted subscription price only available if you use this code, 10% off code. And Iconic subscription prices, again 10% off code. If you will get this Iconic subscription for least possible price for 12 months or 24 months. You have to decide which you have to go for. Then you have this Plus and Iconic subscription benefits, and this code that will help you get this subscription in the least possible price. So now let's start the class. So we are good to go. Just let me see if my video capture is coming fine or not. So I think yes, now it's good. So first law of thermodynamics. First law of So what is first law of thermodynamics? First law of thermodynamics, first of all, let's discuss what is the other name of it so that you can have a little bit of information going into the discussion of thermodynamics first law, that what it is. So first law of thermodynamics is also known as law of conservation of energy. So this is also a name, and it is also known as Joule's law. Same Joule. So Benny, very good evening to you. I hope you are doing fine and your preparation is going well. So here we are discussing about first law of thermodynamics, quick revision. So first law of thermodynamics is also known as law of conservation of energy or Joule's law. And I will not write here definition. I will just simply write the equation and then we will discuss that and understand what first law states. So here you have this cyclic integration of del Q equal to cyclic integration of del W. So before going further in this discussion, let me write here what are the assumptions or what for what system this is written. So closed system, and this is for a cycle, and this is valid for both reversible and irreversible cycles. And this right here that we are going to discuss is very important because these three assumptions you have to remember. Cyclic process, so what is this equation saying? And after seeing this assumptions and this equation, you can yourself say or know that this equation is saying for a closed system, a cyclic or for a closed system in a cycle, the net heat interaction is equal to the net work interaction, and this is valid for both reversible and irreversible cycle. So one of the GATE question I think was asked where this equation was given, and it was asked that is it valid only for reversible cycle or all processes? So it is valid for all processes if it is for a closed system, because irreversible or reversible, it doesn't matter. For a cycle, net heat interaction is equal to net work interaction. So this del Q cyclic integration is net heat interaction in a cycle. So net heat and this is net work interaction. So now let's move forward and continue this discussion. So you have this reservoir with high temperature, then you have this reservoir with low temperature, and then the high temperature reservoir is giving, and in between you have heat engine. So this is giving, for let's say 100 joules of or 100 units of energy or heat to this heat engine, and then this heat engine is converting 60 of that to work, and the rest will be given to your so apologies for that, I somehow listed TH, it is TL, and this 60 will be given to your low temperature reservoir. So this is for heat engine, and for heat engine this net heat interaction equal to net work interaction is greater than 0. This is for heat engine, and why it is greater than 0 you can see in this figure that I have drawn, where a heat engine is taking this amount of heat and converting that to work that is positive. So because work done by the system is positive, and therefore you can say this thing. Then the other thing is your the same equation, but it is now negative. This is for work consuming device such as heat pump and refrigerators. Why? Because the work will be taken by them, and since net work is taken by them, so you can say that the net heat interaction is also negative, and this will be for, you can see this type of things occurring in heat pump and refrigerators. So now the first law of thermodynamics, there is also this equation which is very important, and I hope you have studied this. So del Q is equal to dE plus del W. What is dE? This is change in energy, which is a property, and these are path functions. So this is first law of thermodynamics for closed system. And this dE, change in energy, will be equal to change in kinetic energy plus change in potential energy plus change in internal energy, as energy is equal to kinetic energy plus potential energy plus internal energy. And if for a stationary system, so if we are taking the system as stationary, so for a stationary system, what you will have the changes in kinetic and potential energy to be equal to 0. So the changes in kinetic and potential energy is 0 for a stationary system. So therefore for a stationary system your changes in energy will be equal to changes in internal energy. So you can write for stationary system, this first law of thermodynamics for a closed system becomes del Q is equal to du plus del W. And also if you are taking a quasi-static process, then you will find for a quasi-static process that the work done is, first of all, the work done is equal to work done boundary plus other work done which are shaft work and things like that. For a quasi-static process, you will only have this term boundary work done, and this boundary work done, we know del WB boundary work is equal to PdV, or if you just find the boundary work totally, then it will be integration of PdV. So what this will give you, this two stationary system and quasi-static, your system process will be quasi-static, then you will have this change in heat or net heat interaction, or heat interaction is equal to du, changes in internal energy, plus del W, the amount of work that is done, and this del W will be del WB, that is boundary work, and this can again be written more specifically like this, because boundary work is PdV. Always for different processes you will get different type of result by using this boundary work formula, but it is equal to PdV, and this I have discussed a lot in my previous classes. So I hope this is clear to you. Now let's move forward and discuss the other thing, but before that I am just writing it here, this equation that we obtained. So what are the assumptions if you are using this equation? Closed system, stationary system, what stationary system means is changes in kinetic energy is equal to 0 and changes in potential energy is also 0. And then what we have is quasi-static. So you will have this boundary work PdV. So I hope this is it for the discussion that we have, and if you have any doubt, then you can ask here in the comment section so that I can answer that doubt or question. So now what we have here, what the topic next we have to learn is, before doing that, let me talk about something. So yes, let's talk about this, like this can come in question, that energy of universe is equal to constant Y. So why energy of universe is constant, and to answer this you have to look no further than the first law. So your first law, what it is saying, it is saying that the net heat interaction is equal to net work interaction, or it is also saying this. And in a isolated system, what is universe? Universe is an isolated system, and in an isolated system what happens, the energy interaction or energy transfer from system to surrounding or from surrounding to system is not going to happen, and also the mass transfer is not going to happen. So energy of a universe is constant because it is an isolated system. An isolated system does not have this energy transfer or mass transfer, so the means of energy getting changed is not there. So you will say that since this is an isolated system, the universe, it is having constant energy, and here this will be not possible, this will be not possible. So you can see the change in energy is 0 for a universe, and therefore the energy is constant. Now let's talk about the perpetual motion machine of first kind. So this is based on the first law. So you have this machine in which there is no energy input, it is zero, but you are getting work output. So this is not possible. So I hope you have understood what this means. So because why it is not possible? Because you have to provide some energy to receive work. And if you are not providing energy, then you will not receive work, because energy can be heat also, because it is also a form of energy. Because the first law of thermodynamics, it states that the net heat interaction is net equal to net work interaction. So if your work interaction is there, if your work interaction is there as some positive value, then there will be net heat interaction as some positive value. That means the heat will be given to the system to receive that amount of work, because heat is positive only when there is heat provided to the system from the surrounding. It is based on the natural convention that we are following. And let's move further, and let's discuss about enthalpy. So enthalpy H is equal to U plus PV, or specific enthalpy small h will be equal to small u plus, let me write it like this. So this is your enthalpy, and what enthalpy is, if someone asks your definition of enthalpy, what you will say? So enthalpy is just this sum of internal energy and the product of pressure and volume. Why it is named enthalpy? Because this term was grouped together, and for the sake of or for the convenience, this was, since this was coming very as you will see, this will come a lot during our discussion. So this was given this name for this convenience by grouping these two terms together, and it was named as enthalpy. So enthalpy is U plus PV, which is H, and its unit is also equal to the unit of the energy, that is joule. And let's discuss about now constant volume. So heat transfer in some processes we will discuss now. So first is constant volume. So what we are doing, we are so heat transfer in various processes is discussed right here, and this will not take much time, but this will be useful in certain numericals and certain questions that we will do today. So for constant volume, what you have your uh, first law of thermodynamics. First of all, del Q is equal to du plus P dV. So for constant volume, you will have this 0, and your del Q will be equal to change in internal energy. So your change in this heat or heat transfer will be mCV dt. And from here you can say that the heat transfer will be function of temperature, as U is a function of temperature. And let's talk about now constant pressure heat transfer in that process. So same first law of thermodynamics will give us this equation, but now P is constant, so you can take this P inside this derivative, and what you will get is du plus dPV is equal to del Q, that is the heat transfer. And again you can take this further like this, and this term, as I have discussed at the top, it is nothing but the enthalpy. So for a constant pressure process, your change in enthalpy is equal to the heat transfer, and this change in enthalpy and heat transfer. And if we are talking about ideal gas, so for ideal gas you have this H is equal to U plus PV, and this PV is equal to MRT, so H will be H is equal to U plus MRT, and since U is function of temperature, and this will be also function of temperature, so you can say that for ideal gas H will be function of temperature only. And what will be the del Q? Del Q will be mCp dt, and if pressure is constant you will have this value equal to the change in enthalpy. So you can remember change in enthalpy for a constant pressure process is equal to the mCp dt value. So this is what change in enthalpy for that process is equal to, and for ideal gas this enthalpy is always constant, pressure always equal to the function of the temperature. Why? Because it is made up of the two terms which will be pressure, not pressure, which will be function of temperature, how I have shown you in the screen. So now let's talk about certain other important details that you will require to do questions that we are going to discuss, and this I have discussed previously also, but let's do it one more time. Cp minus Cv is R, where R is your characteristic gas constant and Cp is specific heat at constant pressure, Cv is specific heat at constant volume, and this is your ratio of specific heat gamma, it is Cp by Cv. And always remember that this gamma is 1.4 for air, but if other gas is given, or if other than air any gas is given, then you will be taking this Cp by Cv different there, and you will be getting different than this 1.4. So always remember that don't take this 1.4 equal to gamma every time, just see what is the gas given and just take gamma according to it. Now let's talk about another thing, that is Cv value or Cp value in terms of this characteristic gas constant. This will be very helpful in numerical, so you must remember these things, that Cp is equal to this, and Cv is equal to only R divided by gamma minus 1. So this will be beneficial for your numericals, that Cp and Cv in terms of this characteristic gas constant. And let's now talk about the heat transfer for isothermal process. So for isothermal process we have temperature is equal to constant. So since temperature is constant for isothermal process, you will not have the change in internal energy for ideal gases because temperature is constant. So for isothermal process the heat transfer will be equal to the work done. So del Q is equal to del W, and this is for those processes which are having constant temperature. So I hope you are able to understand this. And now we will talk about the adiabatic process. There the heat transfer is zero because the process adiabatic definition is that only, and the other process will be, so let me write that also here, adiabatic process Q is equal, del Q is equal to 0, and the other process that is left is the polytropic process. And here I am not going to derive this formula because it will obviously take time, and it is not that much of importance, the derivation, but you still have to remember how to derive it. But you don't have to go it again and again, just see it one or two times so that you can remember the steps. But don't remember it word by word, because it is not that frequently asked. And just remember this formula of polytropic process: PV is equal to N, PV raised to power N is equal to C. And in this process you will find, first of all, let me write work done in a polytropic process. So this, I hope you remember, P1 V1 minus P2 V2 divided by N minus 1, and Q polytropic is equal to work polytropic into gamma minus N divided by gamma minus 1. So this is very important, and you will find that usually or generally the N value is in between this 1.4 and 1. So this whole value will be gamma minus N by divided by gamma minus 1, will give you, when multiplied by W poly, as the polytropic heat transfer. Let me see if the stream is working fine. So that is your work polytropic formula above, and this formula you have to use and then multiply with this to get the Q polytropic value. And we have done some questions, I think, in Unacademy's app and website, or here on YouTube, which involved this polytropic heat calculation. So I have already made you use this formula. And in my previous class, which was, by the way, one of the better class that you can attend if you have already prepared for this thermodynamics, that is common mistakes that students make in thermodynamics and how to avoid those mistakes. I have talked about that in detail, and I have also shared a lot of tips and tricks so that you are remembering that these mistakes, what they are and how to not do them. So now let's talk about free expansion. Then what we will do, we will discuss some questions from the first law of thermodynamics. So what is free expansion? So you have this cylinder where you are keeping this gas or air in one part and the other part is vacuum, and it is isolated. So free expansion is expansion against vacuum, and in free expansion the work done will be zero. Okay, so free expansion is expansion against vacuum, and here the work done will be zero. And by first law of thermodynamics, since we are talking about first law of thermodynamics in this class, you will find del Q is equal to del W plus du. So since this is a isolated system and work done here is zero, so you will find that change in energy, change in internal energy, will be equal to zero in free expansion, and this means that your temperature change is also zero. Or what this means is that initial temperature is equal to final temperature. But since this is having initial temperature and final temperature same, still this is not a isothermal process. Why this is not an isothermal process even though you are getting this initial and final temperature same? Because what is your energy formula? Your energy formula is kinetic energy plus potential energy plus internal energy. So your change in energy will be change in kinetic energy plus change in potential energy plus change in internal energy. And this is as we are assuming that the potential energy changes are zero. So potential energy changes are zero. So this will be fine. So when you are having this isolated system, you are not having this energy interaction take place, so your changes in energy will be zero also. So what you will get, you will get the kinetic energy plus internal energy equal to zero. The change in kinetic energy plus change in internal energy is equal to zero. And when you make this free expansion, you will find that your air which is inside this partition, and if this partition is removed, it will expand freely and it will occupy the whole volume, which was initially also occupied by vacuum. That volume also is occupied now by this air freely. And by doing that, it will need to have some velocity which will be given to it by the internal energy, and then the internal energy will get reduced. But after it coming to the final state, internal energy of it will start increasing and its kinetic energy will just revert back to the initial kinetic energy. So the internal energy is giving it the kinetic energy to freely expand, then it is taking back the internal energy which was given to make that expansion freely, and the kinetic energy was will come back to its original value, and internal energy also will come back to its original value, and you will have this temperature initially and finally as same. So let me draw this two figures or two graphs so that you can understand it properly. And this is, by the way, very important point. So if you are able to understand this, remember this might come in very handy when GATE examination will occur. You can get a question in which this concept will be used, because till now we have not got any GATE question using this concept. So initial state, final state. So what will happen? Your internal energy plus kinetic energy, they are equal to zero, because we have assumed isolated system, so there will be no energy interaction there. And so the kinetic energy which is required for free expansion of this air inside this vacuum region also will be taken from the internal energy, and hence its temperature will reduce, but it will go back to its original form when it reaches its final state. So the temperature is equal, final and initial temperature is equal, but we cannot say that during the whole process T is equal to C. So not an isothermal process. So I hope you understood this, what is happening, why a free expansion is not an isothermal process, even though it has gone through, it has this value of initial and final temperature as same. And let's now just also represent this in the PV diagram. So in PV diagram you have this curve, isothermal curve, and you have this initial and this final state, because they will all go to this T temperature curve, and your initial state will have this temperature reduced and it will increase, and both the temperatures in this curve are same, because this is isothermal curve, and therefore the final state and initial state can be seen here, because that is what is happening in the isothermal process. Not isothermal process, that is what is happening in the this free expansion process where temperatures are same. And as you can see, this is not following this isothermal curve, therefore free expansion is not isothermal. So that will be it for the theoretical and numerical formula discussion. Now let's do some questions. I have here some questions, but due to some reason there, my PPT was not having this question already, because I think the question that I had was not available. So let me just quickly write it here, the questions, then we will do them like just like the traditional class way. So the first question of the day will be, so it is given, if, so I'm reading the question from the question paper here, and then I will write the things that are important for you to solve the question or answer the question, then we will solve it or answer it. So if del Q is the heat transfer to the system, so we are given del Q, that is the heat transfer to the system, and del W is the work done by the system. So that is fine, that is what we already know. Then which of the following is an inexact differential? So I will just simply write which of the following is an, so it is asking which of the following is an exact differential. Okay, so means, let me first write the options here. So first option is given, second option is given, third. Again, this all the questions that we are doing will be, I think, leaving one or two questions, all will be from the first law of thermodynamics topic, so that your first law gets covered fully and you can in one place do this whole first law questions to make your concepts better, and or to make revise all those these things. So we have this options, and we have this written that which of the following is an exact differential. So we know that I have already told you about the this exact and inexact differential, where to expect them, and we have discussed that a property which is a point function or a state function is having exact differentials, and a path function which is work, heat, so which depend on path, not just the states, they are inexact differentials. And here the first two terms, heat and work done, they will be not exact differential because these are inexact differentials. So these are inexact differentials. Now the sum of these two inexact differentials will still be inexact, so C is also not the correct answer. So C will also be not the correct answer. And then we have this del Q minus del W. So what is the first law of thermodynamics stating? The first law of thermodynamics is stating that this del Q, that is the heat transfer, is equal to change in internal energy plus change of plus this net work done, or not net work done, just work done here. So we will find that this del U is equal to change in this not change in this heat transfer minus this work done. So this del U is a property, as I have discussed in this class only, and since this is a property, this is a state function or path function, and we have known, we knew that for the properties are exact differential, and therefore the correct answer will be del Q minus del W, which is nothing but the change in energy. So let's do the other question here. So the next question here is stating first law of thermodynamics is valid for. all process only reversible process, only cyclic process, or only cyclic process that are carried out reversibly. So what is for what the first law is valid? So first law was also stating that energy will be conserved, and as we can see here, the only reversible process is not the correct, because we have just answered or discussed this in our discussion that the first law for a closed system is valid for reversible and irreversible process. So it will be for irreversible process also. Then we have cyclic process, so it is also not true. First law is valid for other than cyclic process also. So C and D goes out of the equation, and we are left with A, all processes. So first law is correct for all processes. Why? Because we have all till now we have talked about first law for closed system, but there is also first law of open system, which is a steady flow energy equation that will give us the first law for, that is, energy is conserved. That equation will give us, and that is what first law is stating. So you will say that for open system or closed, the first law is valid, and also for irreversible or reversible, for cyclic or non-cyclic, all processes will this first law will be visible. But a certain equations of first law are there which is only valid for certain types of system. So for example, I've talked about this equation. So what this equation is valid for? This equation was valid for closed system, which, so let me just, so this was valid for closed system, and for stationary system, where your internal energy is equal to, change in internal energy is equal to change in energy, and where kinetic and potential energy changes were zero. So say stationary system. And also this was for your quasi-static processes. And irreversible or reversible, first law is valid for both also. So that will be the question's answer. So now let's move forward and do this next question that we have here. When 1 kg of an ideal gas expands reversibly and adiabatically in a piston cylinder arrangement from an initial state to final state, the work done by the gas is. So we have 1 kg of gas, and it is expanding reversibly and adiabatically. In a piston cylinder arrangement from initial state P1, V1, T1, and this expansion is taking place to P2, V2, T2. So what is work done by the gas? Work done by the gas. So what we will do, we will use here the, equation given by the first law. So we have this piston cylinder arrangement, so closed system, so del Q is equal to du plus P dV, and since expansion is taking place reversibly and adiabatically, so this will be 0. So we will have this, this is our work done. So we will have del Q is equal to minus del W, or since we have to calculate this work done, it will be minus du. So change in internal energy is nothing but this mCV, and change in temperature, so T2 minus T1, and if the minus sign goes inside, it will become this T1 minus T2. So I hope this is clear. This is very easy question, and I hope you are able to follow this. The next question is asking, during a process with heat and work interaction, the internal energy of system increases by 30 kilojoule. So internal energy goes up by 30 kilojoule, and amount of heat and work interactions are respectively the amount of heat and work interactions are respectively. So what is the amount of heat and work interaction respectively? Options given: A, minus 50 kilojoule and 80 kilojoule, B, minus 50 kilojoule and minus 80 kilojoule, C, 50 kilojoule and 80 kilojoule, D, 50 kilojoule and minus 80 kilojoule. So from first law of thermodynamics, we have this del Q is equal to du plus del W, and we are provided with this du, which is equal to 30 kilojoule, and this will be equal to del Q minus del W. So we have to find this del Q and del W, select them, like they this subtraction of del Q and del W will give us 30 positive kilojoules. So first is heat, and the second term is work interaction, so it will be, so it can be B here, because the B option is the one that is giving us the value plus 30 kilojoule when we are doing this del Q minus del W from the first law of thermodynamics. We can get this answer. So now let's do the other questions here. So we have for the day we will have this 2 questions more we will do for today, and then we will end this class. So let's do them quickly. two cylinders A and B fitted with pistons contain equal amount of an ideal gas at 300 Kelvin. The piston, so two cylinders are there, A and B fitted with pistons. So let me write that. Two cylinders A and B fitted with pistons contains equal amount of an ideal gas, and its specific heat ratio is given as 1.4, and they are at 300 Kelvin. Piston A is free to move while that of B is held fixed. So piston of A free to move, piston of B, this is held fixed. And it is given same amount of heat is given to the gas in each cylinder. So same amount of heat is given to both cylinders. So if the rise in temperature of gas in A, so if delta T in cylinder A is 30 Kelvin, then what will be the delta T, that is rise or change in temperature, in B? So this is what is given in the question, and we are also given this 1.4, that is the ratio of specific heats, and internal energy is not internal energy, the temperature is 300. So since same amount of heat is given to both the systems and one system is free to move, so A is having pressure constant and B will be having volume constant since it is fixed. So what will happen here, what we will do to this question for find the answer here is so we have to see that for same amount of heat given, if the rise in temperature is 30 Kelvin for the cylinder A, then what will be cylinder B's rise in temperature for the same amount of heat given, and cylinder B is having this volume constant and cylinder A is having pressure constant because it is free to move. So we will see here that Q is same, so Q will be equal to QP will be equal to or QA is equal to MCP. Since this is same ideal gas, so this will be Cp, and then we will have this delta T, and then for the cylinder B we will have QB and it will be MCV because constant volume it is having. So QA is equal to QB, this is given in the question, and therefore what we will get is we will get this MCP delta T A and B is equal to mcv delta T B. So this mass will be cancelled out because they are contain equal amount of ideal gas. So we will remove this mass because equal amount means that, and then we will have this delta TB is equal to delta TA into Cp divided by Cv. So the rise in temperature for this piston, the cylinder B will be 30 cross 1.4, which will be equal to 30 cross 1.4 will be equal to 42. So 42 Kelvin of increase will be there in cylinder B, and this can also represent one important point here, that this cylinder B will be having, we can say this by just by our concept, that cylinder B will be having more increase in temperature, because the same amount of heat that is given to both cylinder, for B it is constant volume process, so all the energy, all the heat will be given to the internal energy change, so hence the temperature will be increased by all the energy, but the same amount of energy which is given to piston A or cylinder A will be having this both internal energy increase and some work done, and that will obviously split the energies, and that will make the temperature rise lower in cylinder A than that in cylinder B, because of the work done that is being done by the piston of A. The last question here is given, so let's talk about it. If the question is, I don't think the question is anything that hard, so let's talk. In a given process for an ideal gas, if the del W is equal to 0 and del Q is negative, then for the gas what will happen? So del Q is 0 and del W is 0, so what is given? Or let's add one slide here. So what is being asked is that if del W is equal to 0 and del Q is equal to negative, then what will happen? And the options are: A, temperature will decrease; B, volume will increase; C, pressure will remain constant; D, temperature will increase. So let's look into this first law to answer this type of question. So first law will be, and this is for ideal gas, so let's write it like this first of all. So this is 0 and this is negative, so your du is coming out negative, and du is function of temperature, most specifically the change in internal energy du. I should write here du, not del u, because it is exact differential. So du is proportional to the change in temperature. So if du is negative, you can say that the temperature will go down, it will decrease, because it is what we are getting from the first law of thermodynamics, or your formula du proportional to dt. Both are properties. So that will be it for today's class. And here the some of the questions I have to write, so apologies for that. I will look into it and find my slide prepared there. So again, you can attend this. I will be taking this revision classes with better slides on unacademy.com, so you can visit me there to attend classes. I am also started this revision classes there, so you can find me there. So follow me on Unacademy. This is the link. Use this code to watch free classes on Unacademy app and website, ABHIMI, in all capital letters. And that's it for today's class. If you found this class helpful, just hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, and hit the bell icon for notifications, so that whenever an educator goes live, you get notification and you can attend his or her class then live, and therefore interact there and ask your doubts and answer question all while the class is going on. And also look into the Unacademy's app and website and subscribe to one of their plans. New batches are starting, so you should subscribe today so that you can start the batches from day one and not miss anything. Because you can not miss anything, because recorded session will be there, but it is not the same to watch a recorded session, and therefore it is better that you subscribe to Unacademy and watch classes live. So this is the code that will give you 10% off, so that you can get the Unacademy subscription at the minimum possible cost, that is maximum discount. So the code is ABHIMI. It is written on your screen. So that's it for today's class. Thank you for watching. Stay safe, take care, best of luck for your preparation, and that's it for today's class.